right, welcome to another Fragments Silicon review. Up this time is Megadimension Neptunia V2R, and yes, I think I think I finally figured it out because I'm reading the press materials. It is meant to be Neptunia Victory, Neptunia Victory 2. And the R is because there is a VR mode in this game.
Yeah.
Like, so with that,
it is 7 VR, but it's meant to be Red V2R, which is honestly what it looks most like to me.
So that's what we're going with here. If we are incorrect, I'm sure Idea Factory can correct us when we send the link to them. But with that in mind, anyway, this review was handed off to staff member Twilight Winter, and so please proceed.
Due to possession of PlayStation 4 and time.
Well,
this is the PC version, actually.
Oh, it's PC. Oh, right. Sorry.
Though there is a version on PS4 if you're so inclined.
Yeah.
Anyway, Twilight, proceed.
Okay, so as we've already said, this is a Megadimension Neptunia V2R or Megadimension Neptunia Victory to Realize, and is a remake of Megadimension Neptunia V2. And it was pretty much remade from the ground up. And had the VR stuff added to it. Anyway, so before we get into the story itself, might want to go into a sort of quick overview of the series itself.
Buckle up,
so
kids.
This is that thing about the Sega consoles being like goddesses in 4 different kingdoms of.
It's not the Sega console.
Oh, right. One kingdom is the Sega consoles.
Yeah, it's all the consoles being anthropomorphized and fighting, I guess. You know.
Yeah.
Like the realm is literally
Tech
called,
Video Land.
Yeah, the realm is like called game industry.
Yep.
It wasn't very clever, if I'm being honest. You know.
I still find it funny though.
Like, yeah, it's like one is Nintendo, one is Sony, one is Microsoft, and one is Sega.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because someone is still living the dream here.
Well, Sega is the main character, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's based off the canceled Project Neptune.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I said, someone's still living the dream here.
Indeed. So yeah, basically, as I already said, these are the anthropomorphized. Anyway, the personifications of game consoles in the form of girls who are goddesses, or CPUs, as they're referred to as, and they're at constant competition with one another for the shares or the faith of the people of the world, which provides them with their powers. And but in times of crisis, they do come together to face a common enemy and whatnot. So
normally they have like people modes and then like cyber magical girl modes, and then it looks like in this game they also have giant robot modes or something.
I'll get to that in a little bit. Not quite, but I'll get to that.
Sorry.
It's okay. Anyway, the story itself is that Neptune, who is really irresponsible for her job as deity of her nation, Plantune, was goofing off one day and found a abandoned console that she had never seen before, and brought it home with her. And was going to get her sister Nepgear to trying to get it working since it seemed to be broken. Only for to come inside into another realm known as Dimension Zero. And as there, they find themselves in what's basically a post-apocalyptic setting in a city that's overrun with monsters and being attacked by this giant creature. It's also there they run into another CPU known as Uzume something other. Her last name's I can't remember what her last name was. But anyway, or if it isn't obvious, the personification of the Dreamcast.
Rest in peace, little one.
Yeah. And it's like also written over her character. One of the names of her skills is Dream Roar, and she's got a slight altered version of the Dreamcast swirl on her clothing as well. So yeah, from there they after a slight misunderstanding, they become friends and band together to stand against the threat of the giants that's attacking this world, and as well as to try to find a way back, to Neptune and Nepgear's world. Now the story itself, it's mostly done in the visual novel format, with the text box at the bottom and the character portraits interacting with one another, though on rare occasions there's the models of the characters interact with one another, though I think I only recall seeing that like once or twice.
Yeah, like they did that a lot in the Hyperdimension games as well.
Yeah. And to describe the story, it's very meta, very fourth wall breaking. There's lots of jokes about the game industry itself, and the characters are very self-aware, especially Neptune herself. I guess it kind of wore a little thin on me at times personally, but I'm not that crazy about the such bland fourth wall comedy. But there's certainly some people who enjoy that stuff. So what else is to say about this? The characters.
Sorry, you glitched out a little bit there. What?
This the story's strong point is definitely the characters themselves. It's pretty much obviously the main draw of the series itself, but it's definitely the strong point of the story itself. Their interactions with one another, and so the story itself can be seen as very. If you're looking for a story that's got a lot more complex here, so you best enjoy this for the characters themselves. So I guess that takes us to the gameplay. Where do I start with this here? guess I'll start with the gameplay is divided into two parts. There's the VR stuff, and then there's the RPG gameplay. But I'll save the VR stuff for last. So I'll go with the RPG gameplay itself. To start off, traversing the world will mostly involve you traversing this world map that's connected by routes to different locations. The cities and beds. And while you're at either of these locations, well, when you're at either a city or base, most of your options there actions there will primarily take place on the map. You never actually go inside the places themselves. And you'll mostly have the option of either conversing with the townspeople, or going to the shops and purchasing items and weapons, of course. But later on, you'll gain access to building routes. These can assist you in creating shortcuts. They'll cost you money or credits. And personally, I did not find it all that useful. It doesn't really take all that long to traverse the map. Heck, there's a speed up button as well that'll help you with that.
Though from hell, the mighty run button.
Yeah. Though from time to time you will encounter random battles on the map. I didn't find it all to be all that bad, and it helps with experience and money and items if you win any items. Then a little later on, you will gain access to guilds and the option to invest in these bases or cities. The guilds will, of course, give you requests or bounties. The requests will, of course, be fulfilling stuff for people, finding this item or killing this creature or whatnot. The bounties are obviously for the more super powerful monsters in the dungeons. The investing part is for the helping the cities or bases with developing better items or unlocking better items in the shops. And there's also the investing in public relations as well. This is for the parts in between episodes. This game's all episode based, or you could say chapter based. And between episodes, there's these preview stuff, and in the middle of those, you could get a special event where you could potentially win an item or money. It's like usually a quiz or what the other thing was. I think it's like a win. You might win an item, I think. It's like a drawing type thing, whatnot. So from there, we go on to the dungeons and exploring them. This is, of course, as you might expect, you traverse a dungeon and explore it to find your way to the end, of course. While here, you, of course, fight monsters. But before I talk about the battles, while exploring the dungeons, you may find items, or you might, or either by finding these little cubes that you can interact with, and you might get some items or money from them. There's also destructible objects that you can you might find items in. There's no guarantee of that though. And of course, when you make contact with a creature, you enter battle. There's 2 ways this can go. You could either get a back attack on them, and of course gain the advantage, or you may enter battle normally with them, or they might get a back attack on you if you find yourself left defenseless, like you're failing to hit them before they hit you. In battle, you got a few options of either performing combo skills or special skills, and a little later on you will gain access to the transformations that the characters possess, or you can use items. Battles are done in are turn-based, but you can move freely around the field to a certain point where there's the these boundary circles, little lines, sort of. Then that will only allow you to traverse so far in the field. This may mean you may not be able to get up to the creature and attack first, or creatures, and so you may have to wait a turn before you can attack them. Of course, certain skills may allow you to overcome that, and certain characters also possess certain weapons that can.
What was that?
Sorry, did I cut out there?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, different characters, of course, have weapons that may allow them to attack farther than others, and for some characters, they may possess special skills that will allow them to overcome that that issue. The combo skills are limited by the amount of AP or ability points that a character possesses. Usually start out with like 2 or 3, and the various skills that a character possesses will take up so much of that AP. Though, if you wish, you can defend and build up more AP for their next turn. The same, and this is also true for the special skills as well. But they're also dependent on the SP that a character has. SP is starts off at 0. Over time, it can build up. And, of course, let's see now. Anyway, the transformations, or HDDs, are of course more powerful versions of the characters, or goddess forms. From what I can tell, these are not limited by a number of terms or time, so you can stay in these as long as you wish. But some enemies may have attacks that can knock the character out of those transformations and disable them for a certain amount of time, or until you heal the stats effect that's placed on them. And, transformations will give the characters access to stronger skills as well, and this does not cut them off from their skills in their normal forms. So you will gain more options for skills that you may wish to use. Usage of items is very interesting. The items have what's called item skills or pocket points.
Mm-hmm.
Your characters will start off with 4 of these, but with certain say accessories, your characters will be able to increase that. And you can freely use as many items as you wish, as long as you have enough pocket points to use them. And you don't waste a turn either.
So how does your item stock work?
The stock of items is basically you can buy so much of this item and.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood when you said you can use it freely. I thought you meant like with it doesn't take away any.
Oh no.
It just doesn't take any action economy.
No, it doesn't take away your character's turn. All it takes away is the points that item might use up.
Okay.
Some may use 1 or 2 points. It depends on the item and how strong the item is, like a stronger healing item or whatnot. Anyway, I almost neglected to mention that besides special skills and the combos, there are also various combination skills. These are these range from partner skills, which is defined by what's known as coupling. This is done by placing characters adjacent to one another in either the front line or the rear guard. Each time you enter a dungeon, you can change the position of your characters in your formations. And there's this the front line and the rear guard. And the rear guard is for characters in reserve. The characters in the front lines. Through coupling, this can give them access to skills they can use together. And they're pretty good. And obviously these are much stronger than normal skills. There's also the defense skills, which is basically an alternative to guarding. And sometimes these can be considered better than just normal guarding. I think that's about it for the combat itself.
Like what? I don't think you mentioned what kind of combat is. Is it turn-based action combat?
I mentioned it's turn-based.
Okay. But is it like the full-on turn-based, like you select from a menu, or can you move around like other Idea Factory games?
Oh, you can move around freely, but it's otherwise turn-based.
So it's kind of like I think Tales of Symphonia, or whenever it's your turn, you can move and attack freely, kind of thing.
No, it's like I said, your characters can move around, but the enemies don't. Well, until it's their turn, and their how much they can move around is defined by boundaries, sort of these circles surround the characters and limits their range of movement. And I did almost forget to mention, now that you mentioned it, that you can escape from battle if you like push against this boundary line, I think. I forget how that works exactly.
I think that's how it was in the other Ideal Factory games, so.
Yeah. If there's a good comparison I can make for this, it would be Quest 64, but I don't know how many people who are here have played.
Yeah, I haven't.
I've only played the other ones we've gotten for the thing.
Well, anyway, there's a one against the giants themselves. This is slightly different. It's you can move around as much as you want, but you're unable. You must rely on your special skills. It's otherwise not much different from a normal battle. Otherwise, you can level up like in most other RPGs. Go through completing certain challenges on the dungeons. You can either could be anything to how far you run or how many surprise attacks you get, or well, not various things. You gain what's known as bonus points that you can put into your stats in the character status menus. Using these are not permanent. You can actually withdraw these whenever you wish and transfer the points to other stats. Though sometimes certain stats affect the character's overall stats. Yeah, that's kind of odd, but it's helpful. I think about the only negative thing you could do in putting these points into certain stats, like strength, for example. If you put too many points into strength, this could actually affect your character's accuracy.
And interesting.
Yeah. And putting these points into other certain stats may not actually positively affect the character at all. Because certain characters have stats that are more important than others. You know, like a character's strength may be more important than their intelligence, of course.
Based on what abilities they get and stuff?
Yeah, based on the abilities and what they're proficient in. Like physical attacks or special skills.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like physical and magic skills.
Right.
Let's see now, what else is there mentioned? There's also this thing with items, that items have ranks. Their personal ranks, and this rank is, of course, refers to how strong the item is. And you could find more than one version of an item, and this other item may have a higher rank than the others. So its stats and abilities may be better than the one you already have. you can and over the period of the story, the towns may get what will have what's known as technology levels, and the higher this level goes, the better their items will be. So you could acquire a better version of an item you may already have: weapon, armor, accessories. And you can also find these in the dungeons, of course. If you find a really strong monster in a dungeon, you could possibly get a rare item from them as well that's got a really high rank.
Now, is that only for equipables, or can consumables have that?
As far as I know, this is only for equipables.
Okay. That makes sense. I was just checking because I've always wondered what it would be like to have a game where, like, you could get, like, a double plus rarity potion that does way better than usual, and then it would be like Megalixir syndrome times like 20.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I never really found it to be the use of items to be all the important, like healing items and whatnot. Because I think that's about it for battles and items went up. But yeah, in my opinion, combat in this game is easy. Like, the battles aren't all that hard. I didn't think it was difficult at all. They I think I only need to use items for like 5 or 6 times throughout the amount of time I've played in this game. And that was only for some of the stronger bosses. But overall, I didn't think like, I've heard that the games are the combat games were kind of on the difficult side, but for this it was easy.
Now, does this come with a bunch of DLC that makes it way too easy, or because I know that's been a problem with Idea Factory games previously.
Yeah, I was getting ready to mention the DLC. Yeah, the DLC in this game, I never did use it, but DLC does come with weapons that you can get, but I never did make any use of them. Like, I never did actually see them either, so I never could make up use of them if I wanted to. The DLC can be disabled, though.
Okay, so that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not just weapons, it's armor as well, and I think costume is... Yeah, it's costumes as well. So, I think that's about all I need to mention on the so the VIIR part of this game. I didn't mention this before, but because it wasn't all that important, but when you first start the game, you're introduced to what's known as the player's room. And you're in the row of you, of course, while you're here. It's, for the most part, a hub that gives you access to options between the main game and the VIIR events. And the
from what I've been seeing, it's kind of like if anybody's played the Vocaloid games, they have that like VR type room thing. Is kind of like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there are. I think even like some of the Fire Emblem games have not obviously the VR version, but have rooms where you can like get to spend time with your characters.
Yeah. It's kind of like that. Basically, what occurs in the VR events is of course basically a cutscene where you can move about. You don't need a you don't need a VR helmet like an Oculus Rift or anything like that to play these. You can do this with your controller. The characters will, for the most part, act on their own. They will talk to you, and at certain points, they will ask you a yes or no question. And of course, answering involves either shaking your head yes, or shaking your head no, or nodding your head yes.
Like literally with the VR headset, or?
Yeah, you can do this literally with the VR headset, but of course, if you don't have one, you can just use the right analog stick on your controller to turn left and right, or go up and down for this action. And another interaction you can do is there will be certain points during the conversation, and there's this sort of glowing icon that can pop up on like a character's face. As far as I know, that's the only place it pops up at. And if you gaze in that particular direction long enough, the character will take notice and they react to it.
But there's no like weird petting mini games, are there?
No.
Okay.
These are surprisingly restrained in what can happen.
Because some of these are really bad otaku bait.
Yeah. Yeah, this is at first glance this can be seen as that, and I guess in a way it still is. From what I've seen, yeah, it's as I said, it's surprisingly restrained or restrained, and fairly tame.
So way less creepy than it could be.
Yeah, it's not as creepy as it could possibly be, which surprised me. Most of the time, the characters will be facing your direction, so there's no behind shots very often.
Well, and like knowing Idea Factory's track record, I wouldn't put it past them to make something super weird.
Yeah. Yeah. But the only other form of interaction there is, though, is you can customize your room, and this is unlocked as you progress through the story, and as well as progressing through the events. I think each character's got like 10 individual events. This is limited from Neptune, the Noir, and Bland, something like that, and Vert. Neither of the candidates like Nepgear or Uni, Noir's younger sister, none of them are.
I'm slightly annoyed that apparently there isn't a Nintendo candidate, because
there is.
Oh, there is. Okay.
I think there is, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's technically they're the one that's technically 2.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're like, I think twins or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be the console and portable side.
Right. Well, that's why. Oh yeah, that makes sense. So I guess there's probably a Sony candidate too.
Yeah, there's one for all of them.
Nui. Yeah.
Sorry,
Nui. Noir's younger sister is the Sony one.
I'm not as well versed in this, and I had something mixed up. I think
I played the first one for a while, but I never finished it, so I kind of know what's going on.
I attended a stream where the anime was shown.
Yeah.
I did not pay that much attention.
So yeah, you can customize your room, and the characters may react to this to some degree as well. And that's about it. And I think that's about it for the gameplay part as well. So as I already said, there's also the two other options. There's in the room. Yeah, there's the other options for customizing your room, and there's the stuff that you can look at that you can unlock, and movies you can rewatch as well. So, so I got us on to the audio and music part of the game. I guess I'm gonna start off with the voice acting. On the English side of things, I thought it was fairly well done. There were like maybe one or two characters I didn't think had good matching voices for them. And that's VIIR, who of course represents Microsoft, and there's one other character, I don't remember who that was though. But otherwise, I thought the voice acting for the English side was fairly well done. The characters' voices matched them pretty well. The acting was good.
Does it have English and Japanese, or are they all just Japanese?
Yeah, I was getting ready to mention the Japanese part. Yeah, you can switch between English or Japanese at any time in the game. On the Japanese side, I will of course say I'm not an expert in the language, so I can't really say how good the Japanese voice acting is. But going off of my experience from listening to voices for subbed anime and whatnot, at least I can say the voices for the characters matched fairly well.
There weren't anybody that made you immediately want to switch to English, basically?
The closest to that came with Nepgear. She almost immediately made me feel that way, but...
Well, she's got a squeaky voice, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, she does. Surprisingly, Neptune's voice didn't irritate me any. I guess I should have talked about the... Well, I guess there would have been no point in that, but half of the time Neptune really annoyed me, regardless of English or voice acting. Her personality was really obnoxious. But surprisingly, her voices for both English and Japanese didn't irritate me any. I've half expecting her to have a much higher pitched voice, but she didn't. Yeah, everyone else's voices on the Japanese side were good. I can't say anything for the acting, of course. So, and from there, it's pretty much personal preference for the individual on if they prefer the English or Japanese voices. For the music, I'm no expert in music either, but there's plenty of a mixture of both cheery and somewhat serious sounding music that fits the mood fairly well. Though I did think that the music in the ruined areas of like destroyed cities and whatnot was didn't quite match up in my opinion. They were a little too energetic at points, but otherwise the music does fit the mood pretty well for various scenes and in areas. The highlight for me though was the music and battles. They're really the only ones I can actually remember all that well.
Well, battle music is supposed to be memorable.
Yeah, that's true. It really gets you. The battle music will get you into the mood really quick. I never could get. I can't say I would ever get bored of hearing it either. Though I think the highlight in terms of battle music, in my opinion, though, was the battle music for the Giants. So, song was called "Encounter of Destiny," I believe is what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
It stood out to me. It was this, of course, this epic sounding sort of, how do I put it, intense, but yet has a sense of doom behind it. With choruses, with the well, I would assume it's supposed to be a Latin chanting type deal. Or this could be nonsense for all I know. But yeah, that's all I can say on the audio and music. Why not? I better not forget the graphics. So, in terms of graphics, it's what you expect from an Ideal Factory game. It's somewhere between, between being good but not like AAA quality. The animations for some of the characters, like during the VIIR events, they were a little bit awkward at times, I thought. The movements were somewhat weird for them. But otherwise, they were done well. I could only say the awkwardness was only when they're moving their arms or whatnot, but when they're walking around and whatnot, it was all right. Animations in like dungeons and whatnot were par for course with anything you would see in other games like Persona and whatnot. They did the job good.
Okay.
The graphics for the character portraits during like the visual novel-esque cutscenes was they were good. They of course had that animation that was supposed to be showing another. It's the usual Idea Factory quality. I can't really say anything more on that.
Well, I think there were also some like nifty attack animations. Are there a lot of those, or is it just like only for special attacks?
Yeah, the battle animations. Yeah, special attack animations. I'd say they were they really stood out when it comes to the battle animations. There were a few points where I would say there was some slight stiffness here and there during the animations, but smooth and flashy.
So what you would expect from a JRPG.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh yeah, I should mention the frame rate. Yeah. Yeah, this is an interesting bit that I should mention. Oddly enough, during the dungeon explorations, the frame rate is at 30 FPS, and this is actually quite noticeable. And it sometimes dips a little bit. I think this is mostly when it comes to how many enemies are in the air or on the screen at once. During battle, this isn't noticeable, but it's only during the exploration that I noticed this.
So is the whole game at 30 or just in the exploration thing?
It's only in the exploration. During the VIIR events, it's at 60 FPS.
Huh. And in battle, it's also 60?
From what I've been able to tell, yes.
That's odd.
Yeah, even during the battle special attack animations, it's at 60 FPS. Yeah. I thought that was odd as well. I didn't start noticing it until later on, though, when I started seeing like larger enemies in the dungeons. But I don't think there's any more I can say on the graphics and animations. So I don't think there's much else I could talk about at this point.
I guess it's just price. Yeah, let's say I guess it's just price time.
So yeah, it's price time. So yeah, the game.
You're breaking up a little there, Twilight.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me all right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, right now the price for a Megadimension Neptunia VIIR is $39.99 or $40. Would I say that it's all right? Yeah, I'd say it's all right.
I guess mileage may vary depending on if you're in the mood for a big JRPG or not.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're looking for a big RPG with cute magical girls, with lots of meta humor and whatnot, I say this will do it for you. But if that's not your thing, then don't get it. I would also say this is a good entry point for the for people looking to get into the series for the first time, since the game does go out of its way for to explain things. And
so it's one of those that brings you up to speed at the start.
Yeah, or throughout the story as well. They'll take the time to explain things. There's also the deluxe bundle that includes I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be including here.
I imagine it's probably DLC of some kind.
Oh, okay. Here
is the soundtrack available? Because that's sometimes something they put in deluxe editions too. Sometimes.
Well, what I'm seeing here for the deluxe bundle is besides the game, there's a special art collection, rough sketches collection, PC wallpapers, and mobile wallpapers. So if there's somebody who is interested in the art, this would be good for you.
How much more is the deluxe edition?
It's $44.98.
So what? $5 for wallpaper and an art book, essentially?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that
depends on how much you value art books.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's That's basically what I was going with there. If you're somebody who likes the art book stuff, that's for you.
Like, I could see if they kind of threw a soundtrack in there too. That would be a definitely get, but looking at some of the art, not really sure.
Yeah,
Also, let's be real, you could probably find the wallpapers on Google by now.
You probably could, yeah. And I almost forgot to mention I did forget to mention early on that the game is fan servicey at some points. So if I...
No, it's not like, rated 18 fan service, right?
There is some bathing scenes with censoring, like bubbles or splashing water or whatnot. Beyond that, there's nothing 18-ish.
Have to ask, because we have had several Idea Factory compile art games that made us feel rather uncomfortable.
I guess it depends on the person. I guess they can make me feel uncomfortable at some points. There's also the complete deluxe version of the game, which is $56.58. This includes the DLC,
which is mostly a lot of weapons and
armor,
extra in-game currency, I think.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention.
I'm assuming costumes.
Yeah, the costumes as well. Oh yeah, there's something here also called inventory expansion.
Oh, they're doing some of that crap. That's one thing I hate about basically being able to buy, like, game actual boosts.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. I just didn't pop up on my radar while looking at the DLC.
It gives you the inventory expansion DLC give you a bunch of pocket expansion plus 1,000 thingies.
Yeah, I assume that's for the pocket points. Like I said, I never really made use of it, so...
So it doesn't mean you can carry more items, it means you can use more items in battle, or...
Yeah, use more items at once in battle for a character. Let's see now. There's also the DLC bundle here as well, which is $47.59.
For just the DLC, is that the game plus the DLC or just the DLC?
Game plus the DLC.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's $47.59.
Good to differentiate that with JRPGs, because there are some that have over $40 worth of DLC.
Yeah.
It looks like the DLC altogether is $22, but that includes the deluxe pack, which I think might be slightly redundant.
Well, that's one of those probably upgrade. Like, if you buy the regular game, you can just buy the deluxe pack, and it'll basically upgrade you to the deluxe version.
The deluxe pack includes the art book and stuff. So that's basically the upgrade from the basic to the deluxe.
I see nothing about the soundtrack, so if you want the soundtrack, you're just going to boot up the game and listen to it from there.
Some of them have them like Spotify, so you might be able to find it if you look for it, but it's not included in Steam.
Perhaps. Yeah. So, what I thought of the game overall, I enjoyed it. Surprisingly. I didn't think I was going to like it at first, but personally I did enjoy it. I did like most of the characters. You were not Neptune herself. She was about the only really bad thing I could say about the game. for the characters. And I enjoyed the game overall. Well, I guess basically what I could say for recommendation is if you're looking for a JRPG with cute magical girl type characters with some fan service here and there, if that doesn't bother you, I say go for it. And as I already said, it's a good entry point for somebody who's looking to enter the series as well, or get into the series. And yeah, that's about all I can say.
Yay. Is Adam still there?
I'm here.
All right.
So you covered everything?
Seems we have.
All right. So that'll about do it for Neptunia here. Stay tuned after the break. Fragments is our next game.